Good to see you again. Nick Powell here. I'm the political EU reporter, and I'm here in the European Parliament with Dick Roach, the former Irish Minister for Europe. It is, of course, election results night, and the European Parliament will take its shape for the next 5 years. Right now, we're looking at the seat projections around the actual results, but some of those projections really getting quite interesting, Dick, aren't they? I mean, we've got some bit more detail about what seems to be happening in Germany now.
Yes. And it is very quite intriguing. But EPP is holding its own, but slightly down. AFD, surprisingly, around 16 seats are being projected. SPD around 14 seats, and there's not a lot of change. But some of the earlier, the new Sarah list, that's a very intriguing projection there. 6 seats.
Yes. So I mean, just picking up on that one first. The left, the party that emerged after the reunification of Germany, big split there, and it's the breakaway that seems to be doing best. You say EPP, of course, in Germany that's the CDU and the CSU, the main opposition in the Bundestag, and they are now well ahead, certainly well ahead of the socialists who lead the government in Germany at the moment, who've actually been beaten into third place by the AfD, the Alternative for Deutschland, who are the
that was projected.
The far right.
That's been projected. That's been projected for a while. I have to say, I think I think Schulz will have. It's a disappointing night. If these projections hold true, it's a very disappointing night for him. He's half of what EPP is at the moment. The Greens are not having a brilliant night, but not the bloodbath that many people thought it was going to be, and AfD not the bloodbath that everybody thought it was going to be either. So Germany is still, we still have to wait till we get the actual, we're only talking about projections, but projections seem to suggest that the polling has been quite accurate.
An unpopular government, and it's the parties that make it up clearly suffering there. In Austria, of course, I mean, they're a clear win for the right-wing party, the Freedom Party, who are a couple of percentage points ahead of both the People's Party, the Christian Democratic Party, and the Social Democrats, who are kind of tied. Although, of course, between them, that still means the traditional parties are outpolling the Freedom Party by nearly 2 to 1.
Yeah, but in terms of seats, the Freedom Party is doing well. We still have a little way to go before we have real figures there. But you're talking about one party versus two parties versus a coalition of parties. So probably not as surprising, not any real surprise there. Yeah.
And in the Netherlands, where this election began, of course, they voted on Thursday, and there's an element of spin going on there, it seems to me, Dick, because the party there, the Freedom Party on 7, that's kind of being written up as a bit of a sort of bad result for him, whereas the Socialist Green Alliance has got 8, but I mean that's only 4 each. So I mean, in many ways, he's still king of the castle there, isn't he?
Well, that's true. You can hardly blame politicians for spinning it.
No.
But I was looking at Franz Timmermans, and he was saying very excitedly that the coalition of his party and the left, his left colleague, were after beating back the far right, and I mean, Franz is Franz. He's a charming man, and I don't blame him for putting with a spin. But you're quite right. I mean, when you look at the parties, they're actually 4 seats each, and the party that they're claiming victory over is 7, and 7 is bigger than 4 in most people's reckoning.
Yes, and we shouldn't run away with the idea that it's a given.
But you know, if you look at Renew, the VVD and D66 seem to be doing quite well there. Yeah, and sorry, better than I thought. But again, I'm looking at figures and I'm trying to interpret them, but they're not so bad. It's I suppose we've been hearing so much of the spin that we just have to wait for another hour and a half until we get the final figures there.
Yes, and I was just saying that before we get run away with the idea that governing parties are necessarily in for a pasting, we're getting projections from Greece now which show New Democracy, the ruling party there, comfortably ahead,
Yeah.
with their traditional foes, PASOK, actually in third place, behind the more radical and newer left parties. But New Democracy, an unequivocal lead for them.
Yeah, again, as I said, we're going on projections, but certainly they're not being punished as one might expect government parties. But government parties in Ireland are doing very well as well. They're not being punished, which is it's not what we expected.
Yes, I mean Ireland obviously.
Sorry, not what was widely.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean Ireland are clearly the country you know best, but the two parties, the two biggest parties in the ruling coalition, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, the traditional ruling parties in Ireland, they are going to be the winners in this election, it would seem, and Sinn Féin, who a while ago it seemed like they were becoming unstoppable, actually have already had a bit of a bad weekend, haven't they? Because of course their local election results are real.
In the local election results, they really had a disappointing. It was disappointing for them. I'm not sure what the final tally between Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael is in the local elections, the two civil war parties, as they're sometimes called in Ireland. But they both had a good turnout. There's virtually no tallies. There's nothing at this stage that I can find on the European Parliament elections. But the initial material that I have, first and foremost, of polling in Ireland is a little bit old. The opinion polls are a little bit old, to call it. I was actually thinking that the Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Sinn Féin would all have one each, that we would then have an independent out of at least one out of each of the three constituencies, and then we would have a bit of a battle royal for the remaining two seats. It looks to me like independents are going to do well.
Good to see you again, Nick Brown here.
Fine Gael may have a loss, but I think they're going to do. I think Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil are doing better than many felt. Although the polls have always suggested to me that the two parties will do well, and Sinn Féin are doing worse than anybody expected, and actually could end up. I was confidently predicting Sinn Féin would have 3 seats in the European Parliament, with a more than a fighting chance of another seat, and that doesn't look to be the case anymore. If they scrape back with 3 seats, they will be doing very, very well. Now that would be an improvement. Again, it's important that we shouldn't be measuring what people were projecting against what actually comes, as opposed to what they will be improving the position in the European Parliament. But it's not looking as good as it was for us.
Thank you, Dick. More news as we get it. See you soon.